Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be focusing on a little bit of maintenance that needs to be done to the car. Now, I know the car still needs to get painted and whatnot, but once it's done and fully painted, it's not going to be complete. Like, that is not the final stage of my car. That is not going to be the end. Like, after it's painted, I'm not going to just say, oh, I'm done. Like, there's still other things that I want to get done on the car before I can say it's complete. For all of you guys that don't know, this is my 2004 Subaru WRX STI. It is currently getting repainted. Since it is getting really cold out, I am not able to paint it. So there's other things that we got to do on the car before I can say it's fully complete. But yeah, today we're going to be changing the oil and oil filter on this car. I don't need an oil change or an oil filter just yet. I am going to be needing it soon. Like I said, since it is getting cold out, I am not able to paint the car. So there's other things that I can still take care of. But the paint is not one of those things right now. With that being said, today I'm going to be showing you guys how I am going to be doing the oil change and changing the oil filter on my 2004 Subaru. This isn't the first time I'm doing this. It's going to be now like the second time I'm doing it, or third. Yeah, it is going to be the third time I'm doing it. But I'm basically just going to bring you guys along with me to see where I buy my oil, why I buy that oil, as well as the filter. So right now we're just going to head over to Menards. That's where I get my oil. And I'll see you guys when we get there. Aisha's gonna be the camera guy for today, guys. So if you guys don't like any of the angles, blame her. I'm just kidding. But Aisha is going to be tagging along with us today. She is gonna be, like I said, the camera guy. But right now we're on our way to Menards, and then we're gonna head over to the Subaru dealership. This is a little cold start for the boys. Alright, so right now, as you guys can see, we are at the Subaru dealership. Me and Aisha decided to get off the car and look at some of the cars that they have here in their lot. There's this WRX that got my attention. It has like a little parent like dog lip on the trunk. I never seen that before, but I really liked it. The car has a couple accents on it, like this WRX badge back here. I don't know what that's called, but it has that. I seen some in carbon fiber. I forgot what that's called. If you guys know what that's called, comment down below, but I totally forgot what those are called. I just wanted to show you guys really quick this Subi. To get a quick coffee and a bagel. But Aisha doesn't like Dunkin' Donuts. She likes Starbucks. So she got a bagel from Starbucks and a drink from Starbucks. Basically, we went to Subaru City first, and now we're going to Menards. So as soon as we're done eating, we'll see you guys there. So really quick, I am currently at Menards. I go to Menards to buy my oil. I'm not going to Advanced Auto Parts or AutoZone or an auto place, because Menards sells the exact same oil for $22, and AutoZone and Advanced Auto Parts sells it for $30. Not only that, the other day in the mail I got this basically coupon bag where like anything you put inside is 15% off. So again, this year I'm trying to save a lot of money. This is the way of me being able to do that. Before we start, I just want to share with you guys the oil and oil filter that I bought. So to start off, this is the oil that I like to use. Here's a little background story. So when I barely bought the car, it had some clutch issues and it left me in the middle of the road. I ended up getting it towed to this shop called Endless Performance. They ended up replacing the clutch for me, but I asked one of the guys there any recommendations on what should I do with the car. He said I should consider running this kind of oil on my car. And honestly, ever since I bought the car, I've basically been using that oil. I haven't had any issues with the oil at all. My car is supposed to be running on 5W30, as you guys can see. This is 5W40. But again, I haven't had any issues with this oil at all. And Again, my car is a stage 2, so it gets a little harder than a stock car. Knowing that I have this heavy duty oil makes me worry less about the engine blowing up. I buy mine at Menards because it is $8 cheaper. And like I said in the video, I had a coupon bag which was gonna make it even more cheaper. So yeah, this is the oil that I like to use, and this is what we're gonna be using in today's video. And now for my filters, I go to my nearest Subaru dealership. That's where I go to buy my oil filter. You are also able to buy this at AutoZone. But yeah, this is the filter that we're gonna be using in today's video. It's nothing special, it's just the original OEM filter. A lot of people like to go aftermarket. For this kind of cars, I read that using the original OEM one is the best. So this is what we're gonna be using today. I also bought this metal washer. This goes in between your oil plug and your oil pan. It helps it prevent any leaks from happening. So we're gonna put that on the car because we did not want any leaks on our car. Now we can finally start working on the actual car. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jack up the car so that we are able to go under the car and start draining all of that old oil. I'm gonna show you guys where the oil pan is and how it looks, so that if you guys want to look for it in your car, you get an idea of what it might look like. But yeah, let's go ahead and get straight to it. Okay, so the car is now all jacked up. We have her on jack stands, and if you go under the car, you'll be able to see the oil pan and the oil filter. This is what the oil pan looks like. As you guys can see, there is this big plug just sticking out. That is the bolt that's holding in all of the oil in there. So as soon as you loosen this up and take it out, all of the oil is just gonna pour out. If you look around the bottom of your car, you can see that there's no other pan in here that looks like it's holding any kind of fluid. Obviously, this is gonna be the oil pan. Over here, you can see that we have our oil filter. That is gonna be the oil filter we are gonna be replacing. It is located under the car. Not all cars, it's that easy to find your oil filter or the location of it. Some of them are pretty hidden. So for other cars, I've seen it on the side, on the top. So just look around, try and find it, do your research. But yeah, this is where my oil filter is gonna be. So to do the oil change on this car, you're gonna need a couple things. You're gonna need your oil pan that's gonna be catching all of the old oil. You're gonna be needing a couple towels because it does get a little messy. I'm gonna be using a 17mm socket to remove my oil drain plug. It might be different on your car, but I'm just gonna be using my ratchet. We're just gonna break this bolt loose, and then we're gonna finish untightening it by hand. Okay, so now while the oil finishes draining, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the oil filter. That way they can both start draining at the same time. So I have two of those. I'm just gonna put another one under here, and then we're gonna remove that. Hopefully we can get even more oil out by letting it drain for a bit. All right, now we're gonna be removing the oil filter. I have this special tool that I like to use when removing the oil filter. You're supposed to tighten this by hand, but every time I do it by hand and I try taking it off, it's just too tight for my grip. I guess I'm just that weak. I have this special tool here that is gonna help me take it out. I bought this at Walmart, and it's supposed to be made so that you can just remove oil filters, but it doesn't let you tighten them. It just lets you remove them. That's really all I need it for, because when we tighten this back up, we're just gonna tighten it by hand. So with the tool, all you're gonna do is literally hold it. Then you're gonna put your ratchet in it, like so. You're gonna put it in the off, basically. So we're gonna be removing it, and then all I'm gonna do is place it on there, let it open on its own. I don't care if this one gets scratches because we're removing it and replacing it. And then once it's in there, all we're gonna do is break it loose. and you saw that. So now I should be able to remove it by hand, but again, there is going to be oil dripping, so we have our pen ready to catch it. You want to make sure that when you remove the old oil filter that the gasket comes off with it. This one has it because I can feel it, but it's just a little black rubber silicone that is around the filter. It just helps it so that there's not any leaks, but you want to make sure that when you remove the filter that comes off with it and it doesn't stay in there, because if you place a new one on top of that, you're gonna have leaks. So you want to make sure that that comes off with the filter. All right, so while we let the oil drain, I also want to go ahead and replace the washer that goes in the drain plug. The guy at the Subaru dealership just taped it onto my oil filter, so shout out to him though, because that way I don't lose it. At least I know it's there. So right now we're just going to remove this and put it on the new bolt. So yeah, you want to make sure that you put this back the way it came on the bolt. So we're just going to go ahead and place it on there like so. And that's pretty much it. We're just getting this ready so that when we put it on the car, we don't got to do it under there. We can just have it ready. Other than that, I'm going to add a little oil to this oil filter, because when I turn the car on, I don't want the car to turn on and suck up just air, and there's literally nothing in here. So I'm just going to add a little oil to this and have it ready and filled with a little oil so that when the car turns on, it can suck at least a little bit of oil from the filter and not just run dry. That is what I'm gonna be doing right now. Again, I'm not gonna fill this up. I'm just gonna add a little bit to the point where when the car turns on, it has something to suck on. And just like that, we have our oil and drain plug ready. The car should be all done draining. So right now, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the drain plug. We have our bolt ready to go in. I have this paper towel that I'm just gonna use to wipe off this section right here. And then I'm just gonna tighten the bolt by hand, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it with the ratchet. We're just gonna, like I said, tighten it by hand. We're gonna clean it up again, and we're just gonna tighten this. But you don't wanna tighten this too tight. You just wanna make sure it's nice and snug. I don't think that's gonna be going anywhere. All right, so now that we are gonna be doing the oil filter, I just wanna make sure that I have this rim right here nice and cleaned up. I'm gonna be getting some of the old oil. We're gonna rub it against the seal of the oil filter. And with this, we're just gonna go ahead and make sure that when you thread it on there, you don't force it, you just let it go on its own. You see right there, I didn't apply any pressure or anything. All I did was guide it. So we're just gonna hand tighten this. We're not gonna go ahead and torque it down to a specific spec or use any kind of tool to help us tighten it. We're just gonna tighten it by hand, but you want to make sure that it's on there nice and tight too. You don't want this falling off while you're driving. The car is now completely drained. There is absolutely no oil in the car. It does have the new oil filter in there and the washer as well. So now the next thing to do is we're gonna add the oil. You want to make sure that you add the right amount of oil to your car. You don't want to have too much, but you don't want to have too little either. So you want to make sure that it's at the right point. There's two ways for you to know how much oil goes in your car. The first one is going to be your owner's manual. It is going to tell you exactly how many quarts or liters you need in your car. And then the second one is the internet. You can just go online, type in your car and see the oil capacity of your year, make and model. You can look this up on Google or whatever search website you like to use. But yeah, you want to make sure that you add the right amount of oil to your car. In this scenario, my car is going to take 4.8 quarts. Each one of these has 3.5 quarts, and each one of these is 1 quart. Luckily for me, I have some leftover oil from my previous oil change. This is just a funnel to help make this a little less messier, and it guides the oil a little better into the system as well. Like I said, we're going to be adding 4.8 quarts of oil. So right now we just went ahead and added the 4.5 quarts of oil. We still need to add that 0.3. I'm just gonna turn on the car, let it run for a bit, and then we're gonna check the oil level and then see just how much more it's gonna need. We might have left some oil behind on the car, so you gotta consider that when adding new oil, that there might be some oil left behind in the engine. So right now I'm just gonna let her run, get the oil running, make it go through the engine. That way when we check the oil, we can get a more accurate reading. So yeah, right now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start up the car. Since my car hasn't been running for the longest, it is not gonna turn on. And I've been having that issue for the longest, so I went out and bought this dual wall battery charger. It's a 4 amp waterproof charger, but it takes forever to be able to actually charge the battery. So I want to buy one of those battery jump starters, but I don't know any good ones. So if you guys have any recommendations on any good battery jump starters, comment them down below. I'll look into them. But yeah, right now we're just gonna let her charge up so that we can turn her on, and then we should be able to let the oil circulate on the engine, and then we're gonna let her sit so that when we let the oil sit at the bottom of the car, we get a more accurate reading of where the oil level is at. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys really quick this tool. It just flashes when it's charging, shows full when the battery is full. But yeah, right now we're just gonna go ahead and let her finish charging. I'm gonna put you guys down here so you guys can hear the cold start. But we're just gonna let her run for a bit, and then as soon as she runs for a bit, we're just gonna turn her off and then check the oil on there. Alright, so now that the car ran for a little bit, I'm just gonna let her sit once again, just so that all of the oil sits at the bottom of the pan. At this point, we're just gonna check the oil level and see if we're gonna need to add more. I do think we are going to have to add more because we only added the 4.5 quarts and we had to add the 4.8. Now we should be able to just check the oil level and see if it's right. In order for you to check the oil level on your car, all you gotta do is find this oil dipstick. It's this little yellow cap that sticks out, and it has like a kind of a loop, so you're able to stick your finger and just like pull it out. But it looks like this. This is gonna be the dipstick right here. All it does, it tells you the oil level of your car. So as you guys can see in my dipstick, we have a low line and a full line. So right now when you put it back in the car, you want to make sure that the little circle right here is filled with oil. Now if you have all the oil all the way up to this like chip part, it means you overfilled it. So you want to make sure that it's either in the middle or right on that full line. Mine is at the full line. It is right at the full line too. So the car is right up to where it's supposed to be with the oil. I am not going to be running this car anymore because this is just one of many things that I'm going to be doing to the car. So before we can start driving her all over town again, we want to make sure that she's up to date with all of her maintenance. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is going to be the spark plugs, but I'm going to leave that for another day. Today we were just going to take care of that oil and oil filter. At this point, you want to drive your car for a couple minutes, stop somewhere, make sure that the car is at a level surface, and then you want to check your oil just to make sure that you have the right amount of oil in your car. But because I am not going to be moving my car anytime soon, I'm just going to let it be to where it is right now. With that being said, we are all done with today's video. We were able to change the oil filter. We were able to check that the oil was up to the right level. Really enjoy working on my car, and I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos that I'm showing you guys. It is nothing special. It's just me getting my car up to where it's supposed to be perfect. But we are going to be doing more videos on us working on the car, since again we are not able to paint. We are going to be doing more maintenance work on the car. So the next thing we are going to be doing is going to be the spark plugs, and then in the spark plug video I'll tell you guys what we're going to be doing next. Yeah, if you guys like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned.